The Fimi Palm is a very capable alternative to the Osmo Pocket at a much cheaper price. I did quite an in-depth review of both cameras on my channel, which I'll link below, but this time let's compare them side by side. The main bodies of both are plastic and both feel good, but the Fimi feels just a little bit cheaper and it creaks a little bit more when squeezed. The gimbal assembly on the Osmo is all metal, including the camera head itself, whereas on the Fimi there's one metal piece and the rest is plastic, including the camera head. So the Osmo wins this one. Both have a very responsive touchscreen, but the Fimi's is larger and to my eyes brighter, so Fimi wins on display. Both menus are simple and easy to learn, but having used the Fimi for a few weeks now, I think I prefer that interface slightly more. It just seems a little bit more intuitive, so another point goes to the Fimi. The Osmo has a larger sensor and a faster lens, and both of those factors translate to better image quality, especially in lower light. I prefer the colors on the Osmo in most environments. And because the lens is variable focus and low aperture, I can get more professional looking results. Slow motion on the Osmo is much higher quality too. So for me, the Osmo is the clear winner for video quality. The Osmo's lens is an f2.0 variable focus lens, and it has quite a narrow field of view of 80 degrees. I've always wished it was wider. There are wide-angle adapters and I've tried some of them, and they can give you a bit more field of view, but the edges don't look good. Both cameras have sharp lenses and details are nicely captured on both. The Fimi has a fixed focus f2.4 lens with an ultra-wide 128 degree field of view. That ultra-wide look is my absolute favourite thing about the Fimi. I like to make short first-person perspective films, and the Fimi lets me do that, whereas the Osmo was never wide enough, even with the wide-angle adapter. But with the fixed focus lens on the Fimi, you don't get any background separation at all, and so the footage looks more like action camera footage. So this is going to be a tie because I love having both options, and honestly, it's hard to choose just one. Despite having tiny little sensors, both cameras perform really well in low light conditions thanks to their mechanical gimbals, which allow their shutters to slow down without much blurring, but the Osmo does a better job. I also prefer the colours and how the auto white balance on the Osmo keeps things true to life. And if I add in the same shot taken with the Sony RX100 Mark V with its much larger sensor, you can see that the Osmo, while not as nice, comes impressively close to the look of the RX100. The Osmo has an 875 mAh battery and the Fimi has 1000. Osmo claims 140 minutes of runtime and Fimi claims 240. I don't know if that's true, but when using both for a day, the Fimi is the last to give up. Both have more battery life than I typically need, and I think most people will be very happy with both in that regard, but the Fimi still wins. The Fimi has a built-in joystick and built-in Wi-Fi. The Osmo has neither of those, so straight out of the box, the Fimi laughs at the Osmo. But DJI make an expansion kit that adds Wi-Fi and a controller wheel to the Osmo, and the controller wheel is much better in my opinion than the Fimi's joystick, because it has proportional control, so you can get ultra smooth, ultra slow pans, and you can change the speed of the pan while you're recording. The Fimi's joystick for me is only really useful for making corrections when not recording. This one constant speed at a time approach just doesn't look that nice to me, and the slowest speed it can do is still a bit faster than I would prefer. I think I still have to give the point to the Fimi though, because it has the Wi-Fi and joystick built in for no extra cost, whereas to get those features with the Osmo, you'll need to spend a lot more money. The gimbal on the Osmo hasn't failed to amaze me the whole time I've owned it. It's rock solid and incredibly reliable. I didn't realize just how good it was until I got the Fimi. The Fimi's gimbal works really well if you're just walking along and not doing anything too wild, but when doing more demanding moves, I start to run into problems. It gets confused or stuck, or sometimes it totally freaks out. The programming just isn't fully there yet, and I think they need to keep working on it. The Osmo, on the other hand, just points where I want it to point. No matter what kind of hell I put it through, it does what I need it to do 98% of the time. So this one definitely goes to the Osmo. I haven't had either camera crash on me, but as I mentioned, the gimbal on the Fimi is not as reliable when I'm moving the camera around a lot or changing angles. The gimbal has freaked out a few times and needed to be rebooted, and the motors have overheated. I just don't feel that confident counting on it to do what I need it to do all the time. And then there's the app. It freezes and flips the image upside down when you tilt the camera too much, so reliability goes to the Osmo. The Osmo Pocket is currently priced at $349 US, and the Fimi Palm's price has been changing quite a bit recently, but at the time of recording this, it's only $180. That's crazy. You're getting so much for your money. It's hard not to buy it. So the Fimi wins on value for money. So which is best? Well, it's tough because they produce such different looking footage. If you already have an Osmo Pocket and you're looking at the Fimi, at the price it is right now, it might be worth buying it just for those stabilized wide angle shots and then using the Osmo for everything else. If I had to choose either the Fimi or the Osmo for someone else, someone who say wanted their first gimbal or who did a lot of vlogging, I would definitely say get the Fimi Palm. It's more versatile, it has more control right out of the box, and it's about half the price. But if I could keep only one for myself, it would have to be the Osmo Pocket. It just has better image quality, better low light performance, way better slow motion, and a more reliable gimbal. But I would really, really miss the ultra wide field of view on the Fimi. And so, ideally, having both means you can pretty much get any kind of shot you need. Put both in your bag and you won't even feel it. So what do you think, the Pocket or the Palm? I know some of you have both, and I know some of you are considering buying one or the other. Is the Osmo better than the Fimi, or is the Fimi just too good a value to miss out on? Let me know your thoughts. I always enjoy discussing these things with you in the comments section. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.